Hello and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we are going to be covering the questions that came up on the exam dated 26th February. We are going to be covering the speaking module. Now, before we start, a quick announcement. That is, these questions are memory based by students. IELTS does not officially release their questions. Hence, please use these questions for reference. But don't study only these questions. Improve your speaking skill genuinely from the basics so that you can tackle any question that comes your way. Okay, let's begin. So part 1 had these questions. Tell me about your neighborhood. Okay, so what kind of people live there? How has the neighborhood evolved? Do you have a lot of shops, or is it completely residential? Do you have other companies as well? Do you have a playground? What kind of a place is it? Okay, next, do you like your neighbors? Now it's becoming very specific. So this is a clear yes, no kind of an answer, right? Either you would say yes, you do, and go ahead and tell a little bit about them. Okay, so where do they work? What do they do? Why do you like them? Do you spend some time together? All right, or you can say no, you don't like them, and you can narrate any unpleasant experience that you had with them. Okay, next one, what do you like the best about your place? And is it safe for women and children? What do you like the best about your place? Pick one. There can be multiple aspects. Now remember, don't overthink these questions. Say there are a lot of restaurants around your house. Mention about them. You have a big playground. Talk about that. People are very good. Talk about that. You get everything that you wish for. All kinds of shops are available in the vicinity. Talk about that. Okay, don't overthink the first aspect that comes to your mind. Go ahead and elaborate it. Okay, next one, is it safe for women and children? A clear yes no kind of a response, right? You can say yes, you can say the law and order situation is very good, or you can say no, and you can talk about crime rates, right? So two different kind of responses, two different genres of vocabulary that would come out, and it would boost your score. Okay, do you like to try new activities? Now the test branches off somewhere else. Do you like to try new activities? Now this is an open-ended question. Now you might think you sometimes like to do new activities, sometimes you don't, where it depends on your mood, right? So what would you really say? Should you say yes? Should you say no? My suggestion is you can even say that you do new activities when you feel like it. Okay, you can also take a middle ground. It's not always the case that you need to have a clear-cut yes or a clear-cut no. You can always say sometimes. I do try out new stuff whenever I have the time and I'm in the mood for it, but usually I'm so held up with work that I'm not able to explore much. I have a couple of hobbies that I usually pursue, and I dedicate most of my free time towards that. Good enough. Okay. Next, did you like to try new things in your childhood too? What kind of activities did you really do? Okay, was it new all the time, or was it a couple of them? Now, if you've not tried anything new, it's okay. You can simply say that my entire childhood was spent playing cricket or was spent sketching. Well, good enough. Go ahead and elaborate that. Okay, so there is no right or wrong answer in terms of content. You will be right or wrong only in terms of your English language. So just focus on expressing it properly. Okay, don't focus on what you are expressing. Okay, next, what activity would you like to try? So this is a question that asks your future plans. So this talked about your past. Now I'm asking about your future. In future, is there anything that you have earmarked saying, well, I want to go mountaineering, maybe. Okay, or you want to try your hand at cooking if you have not cooked earlier. Different such responses. Okay, last one, do you prefer trying activities alone or in groups? Why? Okay, so you have to give reasons for it. So if you say alone, well, you can say that I usually don't like to be bothered. I don't like to take new ideas when I'm myself trying something new. I like to see how my thinking evolves as I do a different activity. Or you can say I like to do it in groups of 2 or 3, because then it becomes a very good experience in terms of idea sharing. However, I don't like the group to be more than 3, because then it just becomes noise. Nobody is able to put forth their ideas properly. Okay, so you can develop your answer in these different ways. Do try them out with me as we discuss these questions. Do try to think of your ideas and what you would say if you get these questions. Okay, now let's move to part 2. In part 2, here is the cue card that the student got. Describe a book that left a great impression on your mind. So the supporting questions are, when and how you got this book, when did you read the book, and what have you learned from the book? Very interesting. Okay, so describe a book that left a great impression. Now, some of you here might not have a constant reading habit, right? So that might count slightly negative because you might not get an idea very quickly. But it's okay, you need not worry. What you need to do is think of any book that you've read in your life, okay, and talk about what you learned from that, what kind of impression it left on you. Okay, so it's not the case that only if you've read 100 books you can then pick out one that left a great impression. You've read only one and that has left some kind of impression, you have learned something out of that, talk about that. Okay, so let's take a random example. Say I talk about 7 Effective Habits, okay, by Stephen Covey. Okay, so when and how I got this book, I would say that I read it during one of my training programs when I was working in a company. It was introduced to me by the trainer and he encouraged everyone to purchase this book. Okay, when did you read the book? I read it around the same time after the training completion, and I'm going to elaborate each of these stories. I'm just giving you these one-liners, but I'm going to elaborate these stories. What the trainer did, what did he explain, why did he suggest this particular book to the whole class, and why did I buy it, why was I motivated to do so, okay, and what have you learned from the book. So this is something that you can elaborate well. So the book talks about one habit of sharpening the axe, which means that in the olden times when woodcutters had to cut down trees, if you don't sharpen the axe, then it is going to take a longer time to cut down a tree, right? But if you take some time to just sharpen the axe, but not in actually cutting the tree, but sharpening the axe, then you would probably cut down that particular tree faster. Okay, so that was the logic of that particular skill that is mentioned in the book. Okay, so you can go ahead and talk about this as to why we should improve our skills and not simply start acting, but improve on skills. Very important from an IELTS perspective as well, that you work on your basics. It's not enough that you simply start doing the mocks or practice in an IELTS format. Learn the basics, learn grammar, learn vocabulary, see where you're going wrong. Okay, sharpen your axe. Okay, now once again, it is not necessary to talk about this mandatorily. You can talk about the first 2 points a lot and maybe even skip the third one, doesn't matter. Make sure you're talking about this main question, but it's okay if you're missing a couple of sub questions here and there. Okay, now let's talk about part 3. So in part 3, you had this question: who do you think read more books, young people or older ones, and why? Very nice question. Okay, whom do you think reads more? You have a clear-cut branch here. You have to pick and choose. Okay, you can say youngsters, and you can say why. Maybe for improving and doing better in their careers, or you can say older people because they like to think more and they are probably those who introspect a little bit more, so they would probably enjoy reading books. Or you can pick a middle ground. You can say it depends. We really can't say one particular group reads more. Maybe they would do it in under different circumstances, but we cannot just lay down a rule that way. Okay. Next, which book do people of your age read the most and why? So either you can name the book or you can say the type of a book. So you can say that people of my age usually read career related books. Okay. They probably read English grammar, for instance, if they have to crack the IELTS exam. Okay. Next, third one, people think that those who read books are more successful in life. What do you think? Okay, now this is a slightly complicated question. Do you agree with this statement or do you not? Okay, what is your opinion? What do you think? So you can say yes, in some sense it does help because when you read you learn more. Or you can say no, because reading has become obsolete. Now you simply watch a video that summarizes a book in 6-7 minutes. So yes, it is essential to learn more, but the way of learning has evolved, has changed over the years. Okay, so it is up to you to answer in any way possible. But if you keep your answers a little deeper, you would find that you're using better words, good words. Okay, so use that, go a little deeper once you are comfortable with the basics, then you can experiment and play around a little. Okay, now if you would like to join any of our advanced programs, just fill the form below. There is an admissions form. A counselor will call you, guide you on the different programs and help you get in. Okay, do check out our success stories, students who have got a CLB 10 after joining the program, and you can learn what they did and how they used the program and how they moved about their IELTS preparation to achieve such great scores. I'll see you in the next lesson. Keep studying hard. Take care. Bye-bye.